How's it going? Let's have a big round of applause for Tom first. Toasting. You like applauding, don't you? Good. Now, before I get into it properly, before I get into my little bit, just want to say I'm doing okay in comedy overall. I'm quite happy with how stuff's going, generally. Got little awards, things like that. It doesn't really matter, does it? But basically, if this doesn't go well today, it's not me, it's you. Okay, good. Now, something that's happened in the last sort of couple of years of me doing stand-up, which is, it's been a bit weird. I've started to pick up a bit of attention for the first time, a bit like media attention, which never used to really happen before. But it's like the sort of stuff you can probably imagine what it is. It's not always what I want. Like, for example, first cool thing I got asked to do was go on Radio 5 Live as a guest. Quite exciting for me, big BBC radio station. Turns out they only really seem to want me if they're talking about something like terrorism, which I don't even know anything about, right? Which I've never claimed to know about that stuff, but they think I'm some sort of expert, right? It keeps happening. A little while later, The Independent, the paper, got in touch with me to write like an opinion piece about British girls running off to Syria to marry terrorists. Again, don't know why they're asking me. Also, why would you ask a comedian? It's not really appropriate, is it? Happens all the time. Eventually, you start to feel a bit patronised. I took it kind of personally. Sent back quite an angry email to The Independent. I said, look, it's rude that you think I know about this stuff at all. It's insulting. I don't know anything about this stuff. And I had to say, how can I even begin to understand why girls in this country, girls in the UK, are running off to a war zone to marry ISIS guys when there are single award-winning comedians in the UK? Started to take it quite personally after a while, Nice joke, isn't it? Good. Okay, what I'm going to do, I'm going to tell you like a sort of modern, a modern horror story. It's something that happened to me. This was a few years ago. So a few years ago, I was quite broke. I was struggling with money quite a lot. Don't worry, it's fine. I'm very wealthy now. I'm like you guys. It's fine. Got Amazon Prime now. Use it every day. Last week, I bought a humidifier mood light, right? Yeah. Not even sure what it is, right? Might be voice activated. I don't even know. I talk to it. But anyway, a couple of years ago, really struggling with money, right? I had a horrible 0-hour contract job, all of that stuff. And I couldn't afford my bills, right? If you've been in this situation before, it's quite horrible if you're late on payments and stuff. There was one bill in particular. There was a British gas bill I couldn't afford, and it was really freaking me out, as I was having, panic attacks and stuff about it. Then I finally got paid, managed to pay it off. Huge sigh of relief, thank God. And then, this is a true story, a couple of weeks later, I got a letter through the post on behalf of British Gas this time. It said, Mr. Zafar, it said, you owe us £0. Right? I got to the bottom of the letter. It said, we haven't been receiving your payments of £0 a week. I thought, okay, have they, yeah, I got a bit confused. My friend said, it's obviously an admin error. Ignore it, you idiot, just ignore it. A couple of more weeks went by. Another letter came through. This time, it said, Mr. Zafar, you need to start attempting to pay us £0 a week. I thought I am. I don't know. I don't know what to do. But again, I ignored it, I thought, all right, leave it, it'll go away. And then I think it was a few weeks later, a really red, scary, urgent letter came through. It said, Mr. Zafar, if you don't start making a plan to pay us £0 a week, right, we're going to send bailiffs to your house, is what it said. I thought, right, I've seen those shows. I didn't want that to happen, I started freaking out, right? I couldn't sleep and stuff. I thought bailiffs were going to come into my house, knock the door down in the middle of the night, come in and take nothing. When would it end? Yeah. It's still happening. I guess it's just me that's a bit thick. There's still weird stuff like I'm self-employed. Is there anyone here self-employed? Yeah. The builder didn't share. What's going on with you lot? One person? Okay. Be self-employed, it's better. Good. Glad we had that chat. Now, there's something, basically, the way I'm set up, I was advised to do this, right? I am a limited company. I pay myself a wage every month. I don't think it's a Jimmy Carr thing. I don't think I have to apologize. I don't know. I think it's fine. I don't know. But yeah, I pay myself a monthly wage. I got a letter through the other, recently on behalf, it was national insurance. They said, you need to pay yourself an extra £200. I owe myself £200. I had a word with myself about it. I was like, that 200? Yeah, don't worry about it. Sorted. Now, I get to do, I'm quite lucky, right? I get to do all sorts of gigs and stuff. I do lots of I guess because I don't really swear that much and stuff, I get asked to do interfaith work, right? Gigs for different, religious groups and stuff like that, which is good. I'm very progressive, it's fine. I'll do gig for any religion, if the money's right. Turns out religions have got quite a lot of money, so it's a pretty good deal. Right? I had one a little while ago. I had one last year. It was a Christian event I was doing. I didn't really know what it was. It was in Derby, Christian thing. Got there. It turns out I was doing a show. I was doing an hour for 200 vicars. Right? Is that all the vicars? I don't know. I'd never met one before, and now they're all there. It's amazing, right? But yeah, it went fine. It was a bit scary at first, but it went okay. But before I went on, right, we had an MC, a bit like we got Tom doing the MCing today. We had a guy MCing the event. It was the bishop. Is that obvious? I don't know. Is that what they always do? Bishop was MCing. He was MCing the gig, doing bantering with the audience, doing brilliant Christian bantering with him. It was going great. He was smashing it, right? It was really good. And then, just before he brought me on, he thought he'd do a little thing where he'd looked me up online for little credits or whatever he could, show off about, whatever. He said a few things, and then he said he thought he'd be a bit fun with it, with the research he'd done. He said, and he's an Arsenal fan, and loads of people booed, football bantering, very good. And then he said, and he's a Muslim, and no one booed, but it felt like they were about to. Because it was the same tone, Arsenal fan, Muslim, boo, boo, what, oh. Not when he's in the room, Yeah. I had another one a couple of months later. I had a gig in a synagogue, right? And the thing is, again, like I said, I'm very progressive. I'm a very good guy. I like learning about. It's fun to. It's good to learn about other cultures and all of that stuff. The thing is, I'd never been inside a synagogue before. Obviously, I've been inside mosques and churches and stuff. Yeah, I hadn't been in one. So I got there quite early for the gig. I thought, I'm gonna be really great. I'm gonna ask loads of questions, learn about this and all of that. Now, got there early. It was just the rabbi there showing me around and all of that. Beautiful, loads of really interesting stuff. At the back of the room, they had these really long tables, right, where they had, I guess this is going to be like networking before. They had like, tea, coffee, whatever you need to make tea was there, but, hot water, sugar. But next to all of that, there were these little like pots of like this red stuff, like jam or red sauce or something. And I thought, oh, I've never seen this before. I'm going to learn about this. I thought that must be like a Jewish culture with that. I've never heard of this. I said to the rabbi, I noticed those red pots of the stuff you have next to the tea. Is that like a Jewish thing? Is that like a synagogue thing you do? He looked at me, he said, those are for dipping samosas in later. And then we sort of looked at each other for a second. It's like he was thinking, what do you think we do here? Yes, there's still some work to be done. That's the end of that bit. I've had something, I guess this is kind of a bit more personal thing. I had an operation recently. I couldn't breathe out of one side of my nose, and I had it straightened, right? I've had a nose job, right? So, yeah, I had it straightened. I can breathe out of both nostrils now, which is amazing, but it looks better than it did. And, the thing is, you're meant to love yourself, innit, according to tweets and stuff, but I prefer myself now, so it's a bit confusing. But getting it done right, I realised, I prefer it now, and I realise there's so many things I wish I could change about myself that I kind of bury usually, but I've been thinking about it more and more. Like, for example, I don't have like a strong jawline. It's a very disappointing chin, right? I've got this beard, luckily, that covers it up, which is really good. Like, if I was clean-shaven, you'd have all left by now. But there's other stuff. I always think, if I could just fix this one thing about me, I'd be perfect, right? That's how I always think. Okay. I can't sing at all, right? And I sometimes think if I could just sing, I'd be a perfect guy. Now, where I live in East London, there's a place near me that was advertising a little singing course for £800, right? I thought, oh, £800, that is not that much to be perfect, is it, if you think about it? And then I really thought about it, and I thought, why do I want to know how to sing? Because the thing is, I don't want to go on X Factor. I don't want to be a singer. It looks like hard work. I realised the only reason I want to know how to sing is because I'd like someone to catch me singing one day and compliment me, and that's it. That's not worth £1,000, is it? Or £800 or whatever. Also, that wouldn't happen organically. I'd have to set that up. I'd have to know there's a guy in the other room. I'd have to start singing really well, like John Legend or whatever, on purpose. He'd come around the corner and say, oh, you got a nice voice. And I'd say, oh, didn't see you there, thanks. It's not worth the 800, is it? Before I had my nose thing done, right, I was under the anaesthetic thing, and I was getting more and more chatty as I was getting more sleepy with the surgeon. And I remembered there was this thing the night before I had done privately. The night before there was this. I was looking through their website of other procedures they have. If you're in Tesco, grab something else on the way out, kind of thing. I was thinking, what else would I have done? And there's a new procedure which exists, right? It's a type of liposuction, right, which it sucks the fat out your belly, but it does it in such a way that it looks like you have a six-pack. So it's not a real six-pack, but it's fine, isn't it, for Instagram? It's, it doesn't... I could be dying. If it looks like I have a six-pack, it's brilliant. I'll be perfect then, And I started, I was asking the surgeon about that. I was like, oh, I saw that six-pack thing. That looks really interesting. And he went, yeah, it's really popular, Then I remembered there was a little hidden terms and conditions bit at the bottom of the screen. It said, if you get the six-pack thing done, you have to remain the same weight, And I thought, what would happen if I get... Because the thing is, my weight goes up and down like a human. That's the thing. I thought, what's going to happen? And I asked the surgeon, I said, what would happen if I got a little bit fat with my fake six-pack, if I got it, though? And he went, don't know, it's not happened before. It's like a brand new thing. And I was thinking about it more and more, as I was getting a bit more tired as well. I was thinking about it more and more. It's like, what would happen if I had this brilliant fake six-pack, but I got a little bit fat through the six-pack? And I said, if I get fat with my fake six-pack, am I going to get udders like a cow? I don't remember the rest of the chat. I don't see the guy again. There's even more. Even since then, there's other stuff that I obsess over, right? All right. Basically, right, there was a girl that I quite liked she's a bit taller than me, and I thought, because of society and stuff, it's not all right, is it? I mean, it's fine, but not for me. Like other people can do, but I'm not actually, I need to be taller. So I Googled, how do you be a taller guy, right? And the first thing that comes up, whenever you Google stuff like that, the first thing that comes up is, you must learn to love yourself. That's not what I was, that's not what I wanted. The second thing, the popular thing that came up was not surgery. It was it's an insole you can get, which you stick in any shoe, and it makes you slightly taller. I thought, that is perfect. I'll be a slightly taller guy, then I'll ask her out, and it'll be brilliant. And then I thought about it a bit more, and I thought, if I do that and it all goes great, how long do I live the lie of being a slightly taller guy? I can't. When do I come clean about it? How do I get in a jacuzzi I have to get in with my shoes on? And what's going to happen if it all works out? We go on our honeymoon and stuff. Get to the airport, they're like, "Sir, take your shoes off," and I'm like, "No." And I'm getting aggressive about it because she's there, and I'm like, "No, I'm not taking my shoes off." Then what happens? Tallest man in Guantanamo Bay. That's what. Right. I've done. It's been fun. It's a good thing I only thought that and didn't say it out loud. Let me think, because I've got a weird amount of time left, so I was going to do this long bit and can't. I mean? So I'll do... okay. I don't know. Don't know, still not decided. I did, all right, something's happened to me recently, right, which is a bit, it's not even, I don't know if it's even funny yet, it's a bit weird. My brother did an ancestry test, right, Normally, people only do I've only ever heard of ancestry tests when it's some white person at a party telling me they're part Indian, and I'm like, all right, I'm Pakistani anyway, but, It's fine, And then I'm like, oh, I gotta go. But my brother did one, and now the thing is, so like I said, my parents are from Pakistan. I've always lived in London. I don't really care about racial stuff. I don't really care where anyone's from at all. I have no interest in that. So we were expecting the ancestry test to come back as, Pakistani or Indian, whatever the region was called whenever, I don't know, Ancestry test came back. Turns out, very Scandinavian. But very, and it turns out, we don't know about beyond my granddad. It's true. It's very Scandinavian. Yeah, and these websites, right, they link you to a thing. I don't know if you know about this. They link you to other people you're related to around the world. It's amazing. It told me that I've got fourth and fifth... What's a fourth cousin? I don't know. I've got fourth and fifth cousins, right, in Norway. Yeah, just white guys. It's amazing, right? They're all called Bjorn. I got quite excited. I thought, this is amazing. This is my new family now. I'm going to go out to Norway. I'll meet all the Bjorns. It's going to be great. We're going to start a new chapter. Oh, look, we're so different, but we're the same according to this website. Man. Don't know how accurate, but yeah, we're all, we're related. That's going to be great. I was going to go out there and all of that, get in touch with them and that stuff. Then I remembered I have got cousins in London I haven't spoken to in months, literally. I've got a WhatsApp group of like my brothers and cousins. Is there anything worse than getting a text off your cousin? It makes me sick. You kick your phone off the table. All right, I'll say one more thing, then I have to go. And now, I like that you like the bits that are useless on social media. Oh, we'll laugh at those bits. I'm quite obsessed with online stuff and Twitter and things, and I'm quite into I like the alt-right. I find them quite interesting. Those guys, gamers, and I don't know what they are, angry guys, right? But I was looking into them quite a lot just from curiosity, and there was a lot of, they have a lot of interesting terms, right, which freaks me out a bit, but when you look into it, it's never that bad. Like, for example, one thing they're obsessed with is #white genocide. They go on about that all the time, right? It's not a real genocide, don't worry. I panicked when I saw it as well. I thought, I would have heard about this, surely. But no, it's not a real thing. It turns out what they mean when they say white genocide is any time they think a brown person is getting ahead of a white person in anything, that's a genocide. But that's a genocide, apparently. Yeah, that's what they call a genocide. Things that really upset them, right? Because I don't want to upset them. I hope I'm not doing any of the things that really get to them is things like anything like a brown person having like a white girlfriend, that really winds them up. Or like a brown person being on like mainstream TV, that upsets them. Those are two things I am trying to do. So, sorry for the genocide. Right, I have to go. Thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of your night. Cheers.